Ancient Egyptians practiced consanguineous marriage, or marriage between close relatives. For several reasons, let's delve even deeper into the reasons behind the practice of consanguineous marriage in ancient Egypt. Preservation of royal bloodlines. Ancient Egypt had a deeply ingrained belief in the divine right of pharaohs to rule. To maintain the purity of royal bloodlines and ensure that their descendants had a legitimate claim to the throne, pharaohs frequently married within their own families. Ancient Egyptian marrying close relatives, such as sisters or half-sisters, was a way to guarantee that the royal lineage remained uncontaminated by commoner blood. Political alliances and power consolidation. Marrying close relatives also served political purposes. By forming matrimonial bonds within their own family, pharaohs could consolidate power and strengthen their rule. These marriages often had the effect of creating a tight-knit ruling elite that could better control the administration and resources of Egypt. Social status and wealth accumulation. In ancient Egypt, marriage within the family could elevate the social status of both partners. These unions were often accompanied by significant wealth transfers and property exchanges, further solidifying the wealth and influence of the elite ancient Egyptian. The practice was not limited to the ruling class but extended to wealthy and influential families throughout Egyptian society. Religious and mythological beliefs. Ancient Egyptians had a complex religious belief system with many gods and goddesses, some of whom were believed to have married their siblings. For instance, Osiris and Isis, two prominent deities, were siblings who were married. Emulating the divine by marrying close relatives was seen as a way to connect with the gods and ensure divine favor. Inheritance and property management. Marrying within the family simplified matters related to inheritance and property. It ensured that wealth and assets remained within a select group of families. Ancient Egyptian, minimizing the risk of wealth being distributed among unrelated individuals. This helped maintain the socioeconomic status of the elite and preserved their privileges. Protection from external threats. Ancient Egypt faced external threats from neighboring civilizations and often had to defend its borders. Marrying close relatives could be a strategy to keep alliances and marriage ties within the Egyptian society, avoiding entanglements with potentially hostile foreign powers. This strategy aimed to maintain the security and integrity of the Egyptian state. Dynastic stability. Maintaining a stable and continuous royal dynasty was of utmost importance to the ancient Egyptians. Marrying close relatives was a way to ensure the succession of pharaohs within the same family line. This stability was seen as essential for the well-being and prosperity of the nation. Legitimacy of heirs. Ancient Egyptian society placed a significant emphasis on legitimacy. Ancient Egyptian marrying close relatives helped to establish a clear and unquestionable line of succession. This ensured that the heirs born from these unions were indisputably linked to the reigning pharaoh, reducing the potential for power struggles and civil unrest. Control over resources. The control and management of Egypt's vast resources, including land, wealth, and labor, were often concentrated within the royal and elite families. Marrying within these circles allowed for better control over these resources and ensured they remained within the hands of a select few, perpetuating their influence and affluence. Familial alliances. Beyond political alliances, consanguineous marriages created strong familial ties and alliances. These bonds could be used for mutual support, both in terms of politics and personal affairs. Such alliances often extended to high-ranking officials and aristocrats who married close relatives for similar reasons. Religious symbolism. Egyptian mythology and religion played a profound role in daily life. Egyptian beliefs marrying close relatives was sometimes viewed as a way to connect with the divine and participate in the cyclical and eternal nature. It symbolized a connection between the earthly and divine realms. Cultural tradition. Over centuries, consanguineous marriage became a deeply ingrained cultural tradition in ancient Egypt. As a result, it was widely accepted and practiced, not only among the royalty but also among the nobility and elite families. Tradition and societal expectations played a significant role in perpetuating this practice. Dynastic stability and divine right. Ancient Egyptian society was deeply rooted in the belief in divine kingship. Pharaohs were considered gods on earth, and their right to rule was seen as a divine mandate. To maintain this perception of divine legitimacy, it was crucial for pharaohs to marry within their own royal family. By marrying close relatives, such as sisters or half-sisters, they ensured that their heirs could claim a direct line of descent from the reigning gods. Protection of monarchical power. Marrying close relatives served as a protective measure for the monarchy. It reduced the risk of ambitious nobles or courtiers attempting to seize the throne by marrying into the royal family. This was especially important during periods of political instability, as it prevented outsiders from infiltrating the highest echelons of power. Social hierarchy and aristocratic influence. Beyond the royal family, the practice of consanguineous marriage extended to the Egyptian nobility and upper class. These elite families also engaged in intermarriage to reinforce their social status and consolidate power. The resulting intricate web of familial connections further solidified their influence in the political and economic affairs of the nation. Economic control and resource management. Egypt was a land of abundant resources, including fertile land along the Nile River. Controlling and managing these resources was vital to the prosperity of the state. Ancient Egyptian marrying within the family allowed for the centralized control of these valuable assets, ensuring that they remained in the hands of the ruling class and their close associates. Spiritual significance. Ancient Egyptian religious beliefs were a fundamental aspect of daily life. Marrying close relatives often held religious significance, as it was believed to emulate the unions of gods and goddesses in Egyptian mythology. For instance, the myth of Osiris and Isis, who were siblings and married, reinforced the idea that such unions were divine and sacred. Cultural tradition and social acceptance. Consanguineous marriage had been practiced in Egypt for centuries, becoming deeply entrenched in the culture. This tradition was widely accepted and reinforced by societal norms. Ancient Egyptian, the notion of marrying close relatives was not met with the same concerns or taboos that it might be in modern societies. Political expediency. Marrying within the family provided a level of political predictability. It ensured that the spouse shared similar backgrounds, interests, and objectives. This reduced the potential for conflicts of interest within the ruling elite and allowed for smoother governance. Mitigation of foreign influence. In a region where Egypt often faced external threats from neighboring civilizations, maintaining insular marriage practices helped protect against foreign influence. By keeping marriage alliances within Egypt's borders, the nation could safeguard its cultural identity, security, and independence. Evolution and decline. Over time, Egypt's contact with other cultures, such as the Greeks and Romans, influenced societal norms and contributed to the gradual decline of consanguineous marriage. As Egypt's political landscape changed, and dynasties rose and fell, the practice became less prevalent. In summary, consanguineous marriage in ancient Egypt served a multitude of interconnected purposes, including religious symbolism, dynastic stability, protection of power, and control over resources. This practice was deeply ingrained in the culture and was a hallmark of the elite, though it eventually waned with time and external influences. Understanding the historical context and motivations behind this practice provides valuable insights into the complexities of ancient Egyptian society.